Hello everyone, in this video we are going to cover the current affairs. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app. For regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. The link is given in the description box. We have started a new channel, Civils Academy. You can subscribe to it if you find it relevant. Now let's start. IndoAmerican Dr. Raj Iyer has been named as the first Chief Information Officer of Army of which country? So this country is USA. Recently, Dr. Raj Iyer has been named as the first Chief Information Officer of US Army. Recently, US was in news as Twitter suspended the Twitter account of US President Donald Trump. US was also in news as USTR, that is United States Trade Representative, termed India's equalization levy as discriminatory. Now this equalization levy is also known as Google tax. Fateh 1, which was successfully tested, is the indigenous rocket system of which country? So it is indigenous rocket system of Pakistan. Name is Fateh 1. Capital of Pakistan is Islamabad. Prime Minister is Imran Khan. Recently, Pakistan was also in news because of Azad Pattan Hydel Power Project. So Pakistan and China are collaborating for this Hydel Power Project. Please note that it is in Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. India has objected to this power project because it is in our territory. Which country is to chair the Taliban and Libya Sanctions Committee and the Counter-Terrorism Committee of United Nations Security Council? So India is going to chair these three committees. One is Taliban Sanctions Committee, another is Libya Sanctions Committee, and third is Counter-Terrorism Committee of United Nations Security Council. India started its tenure of 2 years as a non-permanent member of this United Nations Security Council. Total 15 members are there in UNSC, out of which 5 are permanent and 10 are elected for a tenure of 2 years. Now this Taliban Sanctions Committee is also known as 1988 Sanctions Committee. On the other hand, this Libya Sanctions Committee is also known as 1970 Sanctions Committee. Who is the head of Labour Ministry's commission which recommended a basic living wage? So recently, this commission was in news and it was created by Labour Ministry. And this was a one-member commission and it was CACLB. What is CACLB? It is Central Advisory Contract Labour Board. So this was constituted to prepare action plan for the welfare of contract workers, specifically during this pandemic situation. And CA Anand Bose was the in charge of this commission. So 3 important points. First, this commission or this board was constituted by Labour Ministry. Why it was constituted? For the welfare of contract workers. And CV Anand Bose was the in charge of this commission or this board. And he recommended that there should be a labour authority and it should be a nodal agency for entire India. So it should be a Labour Authority of India to oversee the welfare of labour. Pioneers is a program of which country's space agency? So it is related to NASA. NASA is the space agency of USA. NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So the objective of this initiative is research on astrophysics. Now recently NASA approved 4 such small scale astrophysics missions as a part of this program. And these 4 concepts include small satellites named Aspera, Pandora, Starburst and Balloon mission. And this balloon mission is named as PUEO. So all these 4 initiatives are part of this Pioneers initiative and this is a program by NASA. NASA is the space agency of USA. And this program is for the research on astrophysics. The President has promulgated an ordinance to merge the officers of which cadre with Agmut cadre. So for all India services, there is a cadre system in our country and different states have different cadre. For some states, there is common cadre. One such is Agmut. It is cadre for Arunachal Pradesh, Goa, Mizoram and Union Territory. Now recently, President promulgated an ordinance to merge Jammu and Kashmir with this. That means now the officers of all India services from this cadre will be able to work in Jammu and Kashmir and vice versa. Now, which services are considered as all India services? So 3 services. One is IAS, one is IPS and third is IFS. Ordinance powers of President are mentioned in Article 123. On the other hand, ordinance powers of governor are mentioned in Article 213. Which state has announced to launch the country's first solar electric roll-on roll-off service? So this RORO stands for roll-on roll-off. This has been announced by Kerala, and this is going to be the country's first solar electric service. Roll-on roll-off service. Apart from that, Kerala will also start amphibious water bus. Kerala was also in news because of Arya Rajendran. Recently, she became the youngest mayor of our country. Answer in comment box. C is associated to which political party? Which civic body of India has launched the Period Room Initiative for improving menstrual hygiene of women? So this has been done by Thane Municipal Corporation. This is in Maharashtra. The name of initiative is Period Room. It is to improve the menstrual hygiene of women. So this room will have all the necessary facilities for women. The idea is to break the stigma around periods. Now in this context, recently one more country was in news, and it is Scotland. So recently Scotland became the first in world to make sanitary products free for all. Which state launched Krishi Sanjeevani vans to test soil, water and to provide remedies for pest control? So this initiative has been launched by Karnataka. So these vans will have the facility to test the soil and to test the water so that it can be determined that what kind of nutrients are needed. It will also provide remedies for pest control. Name of initiative is Krishi Sanjeevani. So this will help in improving the scenario of agriculture in the state of Karnataka. Now at central level, Government of India had started one such initiative, and it is Soil Health Card. Who is the chairperson of Advisory Council set up by RBI to manage the PIDF? What is PIDF? It is Payment Infrastructure Development Fund, and this council will be headed by BP Kanungo. Recently, RBI announced operational guidelines for this PIDF, that is Payment Infrastructure Development Fund. So this fund will be used for improving the infrastructure for digital payments, and this will be done in tier 3 to tier 6 cities. And to manage this fund, recently RBI decided to constitute an advisory council, and this is going to be under RBI Deputy Governor BP Kanungo. Now answer in comment box, what is the total amount of this PIDF, that is Payment Infrastructure Development Fund? So these were the most important questions. Now we are going to cover important news events. So for your convenience, I have categorized these in a sequence, and first we are going to cover the personalities which were in news, that is personalities in news. So first is Sudhanshu Dhulia. So recently Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia became the Chief Justice of Guwahati High Court. On the other hand, Justice R.S. Chauhan, that is Raghavinder Singh Chauhan, became the Chief Justice of Uttarakhand High Court. On the other hand, recently Subodh Kumar Jaiswal became the DG, that is Director General of CISF. CISF is under MHA, that is Ministry of Home Affairs. What is CISF? It is Central Industrial Security Force. Next is JK Maheshwari. So recently JK Maheshwari, that is Jitendra Kumar Maheshwari, became the new Chief Justice of Sikkim High Court. Next, Joya Agrawal. So she is a captain in Air India. Recently, an all-women team of Air India flew over North Pole on world's longest air route. Route is from San Francisco to Bengaluru. San Francisco is in USA. Bengaluru is in India. So this was world's longest air route, and Air India pilot Captain Joya Agrawal was the in charge of this flight. Next is Madhav Singh Solanki. So Mr. Solanki passed away recently. He was the former Chief Minister of Gujarat. He had served as the Chief Minister of Gujarat for 4 times. Next is Elon Musk. So recently he became the world's richest person. Previously, Jeff Bezos of Amazon was the world's richest person. Now Elon Musk. Elon Musk was also in news because of SpaceX, Tesla. Tesla is going to start its operations in India this year. Recently, this was announced by Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. Next is India's first indoor ski park. So this is going to be in Kufri in Shimla. Shimla is in Himachal Pradesh. And for this, recently Himachal Pradesh government signed MOU with Nagsan developers. Next is Stark Nagrik, that means Alert Citizen. So this is an initiative by Jammu and Kashmir administration. President LG that is Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, is Manoj Sinha. Next is My Pad, My Right project. So recently, this project was in news as Central Bank of India collaborated with NUB Foundation for this project to provide the working capital to the self-help groups for this My Pad, My Right project. Now, this NUB Foundation is an entity of NABARD. So this provide funding to various projects. Next is Konkani Academy. So Delhi government is going to set up this Konkani Academy in Delhi. Konkani is one of the languages mentioned in 8th schedule, and in 8th schedule there are total 22 languages. It is the official language, that means Konkani is the official language of Goa. Next is Vishwa Hindi Divas. So this is celebrated on 10th of January. It is celebrated since 2006. Please note that Hindi Divas is celebrated on 14th of September and Vishwa Hindi Divas is on 10th of January. Next is research in quantum computing. So for this purpose, Wipro and Tel Aviv University of Israel decided to collaborate for research in quantum computing. Recently, DRDO successfully established quantum communications between two of its labs. Last initiative is Paisson Ko Roko Mat. So this is an initiative or an awareness campaign by IDFC mutual funds. Now we are going to cover yesterday's test. So first is Angmali Ajutha Sabri Rail Project is to be constructed in which Indian state? So this is related to Kerala. Recently, Union Cabinet approved the use of funding from Kerala Infrastructure Investment Fund Board for this project. Next is which country has defaulted on the BRICS Bank agreement? So this country is Brazil. See, BRICS Bank is also known as New Development Bank. In fact, this is the current name of this bank, and this is a bank by 5 countries. These are Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Recently, Brazil defaulted on the BRICS Bank agreement. Next is Claire Polosek, who became the first woman to officiate in men's test match, is from which country? So she is the first woman to officiate in men's test match and she is from Australia. Next is who leads the Indian delegation during the India-France annual strategic dialogue scheduled in New Delhi. So it will be headed by our current NSA, that is National Security Advisor. Who is our current NSA? He is Mr. Ajit Dobhal. Who was our first NSA? He was Mr. Brijesh Mishra, and the post of NSA was created during the regime of Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Next question is, in the spectrum auction beginning this March, the airwaves of which type of spectrum are to be sold? So it is going to be a spectrum auction of 4G, and this will be in 7 bands ranging from 700 MHz to 2500 MHz. Next question is, what is meliponiculture? So it is the farming of stingless bee. Next question is, the CCEA has approved a scheme for the industrial development of which state or union territory? So this is for J&K, that is Jammu and Kashmir. CCEA is headed by Prime Minister. Next is Rewari Madar section is a part of which industrial corridor? So it is a part of WDFC, that is Western Dedicated Freight Corridor, and for this financial support is provided by JICA. Next is, as per the recent statement of Niti Aayog, which country is the biggest gainer after the pandemic economic situation? So as per Niti Aayog statement, China is biggest gainer after the pandemic economic situation. Now today's test. So try to find out the answers and try to write down your score in the comment box. First question is, as per NSO's first advanced estimates, what would be the GDP growth or contraction in India in fiscal year of 2020-21? Second question is, who is the head of panel constituted by Health Ministry to look into the adverse findings of National Family Health Survey? Next question is, Basera scheme has been launched by which Indian state? Fourth question is, Justice Hima Kohli sworn in as the first women Chief Justice of which state? Fifth question is, how many citizen-centric reforms are stipulated by the Finance Ministry which are linked to the borrowing limits of states? Sixth is, Satyapal, who passed away recently, was associated with which field? Seventh question is, which is the first Indian airline to use robotic technology to disinfect aircraft interiors? Eighth question is, which organization announced to provide a free domain name in any of the 22 official Indian languages? Ninth question is, which Indian bank has collaborated with IIT Kanpur to set up FinTech Innovation Center? 10th question is, who is the author of book titled India's 71-Year Test, The Journey to Trimp in Australia. 11th question is, what was the theme of 16th edition of Pravasi Bharatiya Divas? And 12th question was, legal entity identifier, which was in news recently, has how many digits? So that was all for the day.